As a pastor, anytime I mention anything about politics, it seems that so many people are bothered. Some would say we need to stick to the gospel and Jesus and church, but that alone is a political statement. So the truth is that as believers and followers of Jesus Christ, every area of our lives is affected by Christ, including the culture and the country in which we live. So when the Bible speaks clearly on a political issue, the church should speak clearly into that issue with a unified voice. And so Jesus tells us that we are to be salt and light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. And Jeremiah commands us to be a blessing to the city in which we live, even though we live for an eternal kingdom, not an earthly one. Jesus also commands that we give to Caesar that which is Caesar's, and so that we are to submit to those in authority. But Peter then reminds us that when that authority calls us to support that which is the Bible objects, we must stand firm in and on the Word of God. Joseph stood firm in Egypt. Daniel stood firm in Babylon, Esther in Persia. Even John the Baptist stood firm when he condemned Herod. Jesus stood firm in the face of hostile crowds and to Pontius Pilate, the governor in Rome, in which it cost him his life. And so with political tensions rising in our country, how do we navigate our responsibility? Well, 2 years ago, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it was the work and the prayers of the church that led the way. The church stand firm in the gap for the unborn children, while at the same time, it unleashed a massive hostility toward God's desire for life and families. Listen, there is a well-funded strategic initiative to raise up a culture of death within the city and the state where we live. So I believe God is once again raising up the church for this very moment, and God is calling us to stand in the gap and defend and fight for life from conception to grave, just as God intended. It's going to take every one of us to keep Missouri a pro-life state for our blessing and God's glory. Listen, in a few weeks, we have an opportunity to vote no on Amendment 3. This amendment has the potential to shrine a degrading industry of abortion and gender transitioning into our state's constitution. And the reason it is not only tragic but deadly is because this amendment is clearly against what the Bible states, that every person has been created by God in the image of God and has been created for a particular purpose from God, which means that every man, woman, child, and preborn baby deserves the value, respect of life, regardless of status or state of development. Not only that, but the Bible is clear that there's no such thing as an unseen or unwanted or unloved child. There is no such thing as an unplanned pregnancy. There's only unplanned or unprepared parents. Psalm 139. For you have formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That means that Jesus is involved in every aspect of life, beginning at conception. So for these biblical reasons, I want to simply encourage you, vote no on Amendment 3 this November, and let us together uphold the glory of God.